I was wrong. Ooh, Tim in these episodes showed up and showed out. Okay? Now, we're going to get into it from a therapist perspective right about now. If you are new here, I'm Denise Brady. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and we talk about all things relationships, pop culture, mental health from a therapist perspective. Now, in this episode, Tim showed up and he showed out. Okay? Now, when it comes to Tim, maybe I let my therapist hat, my cape, fly too free. Maybe I had too close around my neck and it had me in a chokehold because I really gave him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I looked at him as like one of my potential clients and maybe that got in the forefront. But in this episode, we saw, oh, Tim, aka Drake, you have a lot of black and white thinking. And it's really difficult to be in a relationship with someone who has black and white thinking. Now, upon this episode opening up, we see them meeting with his family. A lot of things were said where you could see the dynamic between his family and him and how so much trauma has impacted them. They've been through a lot. Okay. And now they drove what he said, 10 hours to have this scene filmed. And it was great. Now, there's a part of me that wonders, because Alex seems like her personality is a little bit more flat at times. When you meet someone's family or parents, should you get your personality up a little bit? Should you kind of make yourself seem a little bit more excited to meet them? Or should you be your true regular self? Let me know in the comments. So upon me, things seemed like they were going well. He had the letter for her father, asked for her hand in marriage. It was a very vulnerable scene. It had me thinking, oh, there's some emotional intelligence. Oh, there's some vulnerability. Can she really hold space for him? I thought all those things. And then we got the new episode. And so upon, cutting from that scene, we get the next scene of Tim coming in. We need to talk. No, we need to talk right now. And, I feel like Alex is kind of getting a bad edit. I feel like whenever we see her, it's her making a plate of food, sitting at the counter eating. Her apartment is a little bit of a mess. I'm also wondering, where were the fashions? I have still not seen the fashions. Okay. But I think they're trying to portray her as this like lackadaisical, kind of lazy, passive person, which I think is unfair, but I'm also not sure if it's editing or, let me know your thoughts, but it just feels like they're trying to portray her a certain way, and I think that's not right. Now, she's sitting at the counter with her plate of food. Ding! Microwavable queenie, our microwave queen right here. I have not seen her cook a meal, y'all. And Tim is like, we need to talk, okay? And here's the thing. She said, can I eat first? Do you mind if I eat so that I can have you have my full attention? Now, that was a boundary. That was communicating, hey, I'm not in a space right now. Let me get some food in me. You don't want to see me hangry. But Tim is like, no, I prefer you sit over here so we could talk. I was like, oh, Tim, what we doing? What's going on now? Okay. And so he says, I really didn't like how when cameras cut, you went to bed. You were tired. Okay. You went to sleep. My family drove 10 hours to see you and meet you. Okay. And now in that part, I'm like, okay, a conversation could have been had. Hey, I'm feeling a little bit tired. Do you mind if I take a little bit of a cat nap because I'm not my best self? And I know your family drove 10 hours here. I really want to make sure I show up as my best self. Maybe you guys can go get something to eat. And once I wake up from my nap, I can really be my full self with you. Okay, I think that conversation could have been had. I also think they could have had a conversation before they went and filmed. Hey, I'm not feeling that well. I do tend to get a little bit sleepy. So once cameras cut, do you mind if I take a nap just to refresh, regroup? I think these conversations could have been had, but it sounds like maybe she just napped out. Okay, and he was just left like, well, dang, my family drove here to meet with us, to have conversations, to talk, and you just like in the bed sleep? So was this just for cameras? What's really going on? Okay. And then we see more of Tim, the true Tim. Okay. And the thing about him, aka Drake. But who wants to be called Drake nowadays after the whole, okay. All of his black and white thinking, feelings come to light. And it's very hard to be in a relationship with someone who has black and white thinking and there's no gray. Now, Tim is not my client. I only am reviewing this based off of scenes, sliced together, edits. So I don't know the caliber if he's at a personality disorder level or if it's just more of someone who has a lot of trauma, which has been a derivative and a catalyst for him now having black and white thinking and not a lot of gray. It is very hard to be in a relationship with someone who does not have gray thinking, because life and relationships are not so black and white. There's a lot of gray, there's a lot of nuance, but when you are so focused on yes or no, black and white, there's no room for anything else. And I think that's what is happening in their relationship. So he talks about, hey, I tried to have a conversation with you, but you were sleeping all the time. Another edit making me think that what is Alex really doing? It feels like they're trying to make her seem lazy, that she eats and just is a mess and that she's lazy. Okay. I'm not really liking that, but that's the vibe I'm getting from what he's saying and also from the edits. So it becomes this back and forth conversation. And at times I feel like she's trying to defend herself and he's trying to use evidence to back up his thoughts. But some of his evidence is not great. I feel like you're saying and doing what she's also saying, but you're saying because she's doing it, it's wrong. But when you do it, it's okay. Okay. When they do it, I'm the problem. And so over time, more and more of his black and white thinking comes out. And it also makes me wonder, hey, wasn't it just a couple of days ago that you wrote this letter to this man, her father, this really heartfelt letter? And then all of a sudden it's, you're no good to me. I never want to see you again. I'm done with you. It's like, whoa, buddy. How we get here so fast? And just the cut of, I'm done with you. I never want to see you again. Let me put on my jacket and chuck up the deuces. It just very much felt like he had been thinking this for quite some time. And now was my opportunity to really dip out. And what was the point of writing that letter to me if these were maybe truly your thoughts, or if you were able to flip that quick? Now, as I'm thinking about this, the flipping, the splitting, the criticalness, the black and white thinking, y'all know where I'm going, but I'm not going to say it because he's not my client. But we don't talk about, personality disorders with men other than narcissism, but there's some ones with men we should really talk about. But once again, he's not my client, so I can't really say for sure if I see that. But I see some things percolating to make me think there might be a personality disorder here, but I'm not sure. Okay. And I think that Tim really was in this relationship with his trauma at the forefront. I say to y'all are in a polyamorous relationship with y'all trauma and y'all partner and y'all selves. Okay. Who is really the mate here? Is the mate you? Or is the mate your trauma? Okay. And the trauma is making you think that you in control of this relationship, but really you in a relationship, you in the background and your trauma is at the forefront. He has to really work through that grief, that hurt of the different things he saw growing up. And I wonder at times if when he tantrums, yes, to me, that was a tantrum. Okay. He often has tantrums. When he doesn't get it his way, I feel like he goes back in and becomes that little hurt boy. Okay, we see it in Cabo, we saw it here. And maybe as a therapist, I want to see past that. I didn't want to just see like Tim was really the problem. I think they're both a problem. They both lack emotional intelligence. They both lack the capacity in this relationship to hold space for one another, to really see past their own thoughts and feelings at times. Alex, I feel like at times she's getting kind of a bad edit. Okay. And Tim was for the most part getting a good edit until, we saw his true colors. Okay. And ask yourself, have you ever been in a relationship with someone who has black and white thinking where they can't see the gray, they can't see the nuance, and how successful was that relationship? And did it take you a long time to heal from that relationship? Okay. But when he says, I'm done with you, I never want to see you again, like, bro, you just got the chopper and just started shooting and didn't care that you shot her head off. What happened to the love? What happened to, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with? What happened to the words in that letter? Was it all just for TV? Was it all for cameras? Or was it more that he had one foot out the door since Mexico and he was looking for something? Sometimes people who have a lot of trauma, you have to prove yourself to them. And I'm already looking for the wrongs. I'm already looking for you to mess up and show me you're going to hurt me like everybody else has hurt me. And I think Tim is a prime example of a man who is still working through some things, needs to focus more on healing from the grief. Because at times also it felt like he wanted her to be his sister. He wanted her, okay, I said that right. And I'm wondering, is he dating, looking for someone to fit that box? Because she can't fit it. Okay? But let me know your thoughts about their relationship dynamic. Have you ever been in relationships with someone who has black and white thinking? Can those things be worked on? Can you heal from those things? But yeah, he lowered that chopper and said, bye, I'm out of here. Okay? But do you think it can get better? Okay? Do you think Alex was the problem and maybe I'm not seeing that? They were both the problem, y'all. They were both the problem. But in this case, you cannot just have black and white thinking. You have to learn how to communicate. And when you were up here, you have to learn how to emotionally regulate. How do I, when my partner wants to talk about things and they're not ready, hold that space? Learning how to hold those emotions that you really want to get out and talk about, that thing that pissed you off that they did, that's making you feel some kind of way. Knowing how to, okay, I have to hold space for myself. As much as you need to hold space for your partner, you also have to learn how to hold space for yourself. Those emotions, knowing that there's a time and a place, knowing that I have to respect my partner, having a boundary of they're not ready to talk about something and not feeling like, well, I want to talk about it right now. So you need to pick up that phone. You need to text me back. You need to show up right now. No. Learning how to, we're going to talk about it. Let me take some time to get my thoughts together, my feelings together so that I don't just explode like Tim did and make permanent decisions off temporary emotions. Learning how to just, I want to be my best self. I want to be mature about this. I want to learn how to breathe. But sometimes people are so focused on getting their point out. They want to be heard. They want to be seen. They want to let you know how much you hurt them, how much you are pissing them off. They don't understand and read the room of, hey, there's a time and the place, and maybe she's at work. Maybe she's out with her friends. And don't get into the text battle of sending this whole paragraph. How many of y'all have sent them paragraphs and regret it? Okay? Do not text fight. Do not do that. When you start texting that thing, hold up. What am I doing? Is this really necessary? Or maybe do a voice memo to yourself so you get all of that out, put it somewhere, so that when you guys do have a conversation, you talk, you have already gotten all that hurt, that pain out, so that you are more cognitively aware and cognitively attuned to your emotions, your partner's emotions, so that all that other noise is not getting in the way. And I think in their relationship, there's a lot of noise that they were never going to work. Okay. And like I said, I was wrong. I can admit I was wrong. Okay. But I hope that you guys are learning from these videos, looking and reflecting at yourself, your own relationship, how trauma and grief can show up in relationships, and how it's really hard to be in a relationship with someone who has black and white thinking. But these are just my quick thoughts. I was wrong, y'all. I was watching that episode like, damn, like what happened? How we get here? I was wrong. All right. I got that out. Whew, emotional release. I was wrong. It's okay, girl. You can be wrong sometimes. Okay. But I will see you guys in the next recap. Make sure you hit that subscription button, subscribe. Leave me some super chats. Buy me a coffee. Buy me a tea. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.